After relegation in the 22-23 season, Wigan Athletic were under almost £20 million of debt. And instead of bouncing back in League One, the club just got worse. They now sit near the bottom of the third division, sacking club legend Mahoney to bring in Ryan Lowe, who has a low budget, as he's got to turn Athletic around. Because a team with this much history, trophy winners, shouldn't be suffering. So we have to take them to the top, but only signing free agent players now. As yes, people, welcome back to a free agent rebuild. It's been a little bit of a minute, but this team is a little young, which is good. We've got Sam Tickle. I'm pretty sure all you guys know in career mode know that man, as we've got Adiko. He looks a good central midfielder. Ronan Darcy wondered where he'd gone, and although he's not the highest rated, James Carragher, the Malton international, son of Jamie Carragher, but I don't think he'll be playing for me, as this team want to get promoted almost immediately. And you might be thinking, Max, you're not going to do that with the players you had. But there's some good players that weren't on this list, like Sibic, he's in the reserves. Hungbo was on the bench, he's only 24, decent rating. Sessegnon brother, Rankine, Goodwin, Weir. We can make a good squad here, but the only rule when it comes to free agent builds, no Mexican players allowed until we reach the Premier League. However, I have updated the squads. There are a lot better free agents out there. In title update 11 to FC25s, I'm going to change the tactic. We have a lot of centre halves here, not many strikers. Maybe we go like this, which we did just in our previous save. With Norwich going to go countering, and then I'm going to get the tactics right to play this kind of shape. So you can see it's quite structured due to the young players we have. And now we've got a solid back three, a new midfield in Ware and Smith. I'll get the other guys out on loan, and then we've got a lot of wingers at the club, which I will change the positions of. For instance, Dion Rankin, we've had him before. He worked well as a winger. Hungbo I'm going to change. Hopefully that ups his rating to maybe 68. Leave the other guys as they are. Toby Shibik will be a centre back, and Sessegnon a right mid. If he can make that change immediately, I would very much prefer it. It's only 2 million in the budget, which isn't much at all, but we know we can only sign free players. And with our best strikers on loan, I know there was a good one who's a free agent. Recently played at Ibiza, but probably known in my books for his days at Leeds, and yet to hit his potential. This could be his level. Mateusz Bogus, 22, a Poland international. Think he might have played their lower tier, as he's been at a handful of clubs, and hopefully we can make this guy into the next Robert Lewandowski. That would be good, wouldn't it? As here he comes into the training ground. Immediately our best player, and now it's on to the midfielders. We've got Warehouse 22, Smith 23, but he's not a centre mid yet. And with Ollie Norburn only on loan, he's an aging, experienced head. I want to go younger to fit in with our young philosophy. And that's where Mihaly Kata steps in. The 22-year-old Hungarian will play in the centre of our park and becomes immediately our second best player rating-wise. And I know, I shouldn't leave it till the end of the season to do this, but position swaps, Sibic, he's up to a 72. As a centre-back now, Sessegnon stays the same, but I've got something about him I will reveal in a second. As Matthew Smith, he's better centrally, which is a big bonus to us. Then we've got Hungbo, 71. Dion Rankine, can he go up? He does, just by 1 overall. Oh my days, what was that voice breakers? Anyway, let's see this. With Sessegnon, he's going because we are releasing a lot of players come next season. Then we've loaned out a few, like Chris Zay. He's gone to Zestjev. Took me a moment to deep that team. And James Carragher, I would like to loan out. If he could be the shadow of his father, James Carragher, it would be brilliant, because we would have a really good defender, same as Sibic. And Bogus, our best player, he has gone up by 2, and I'm pretty sure he started as a central midfielder, but he got 17 goals. One of our centre mids did get 12. Jensen Weir, who can be replaced now because of his rating being quite low. That is the team we're going to play. Switch that around. That looks very good for a potential playoff push. But we don't just push for the playoffs. We did not draw many games, and that's actually took us up a division. As look how bloody close it was. We were 4 points off being 7th, which is not a playoff place. where Rotherham are, down there. We could have finished as low as 10th. Honestly, this league is up in the air. Wrexham don't go up. Of course, it's Birmingham winning the entire thing. I know I have to keep saying this in every career mode we do in England, but the money that Birmingham have is astronomical. They will never go skint. They've got money to last them for years, as a round 4 exit in the FA Cup. A trophy Wigan, not long ago, I think in 2010, did win it. Or maybe it was even more recent than that, but the Carabao Cup goes horrifically. Losing to the rivals, Bolton, 3-1 in round 1. Not good, and I think we'll only get one shot at the BSM trophy because we are getting promoted and we lose 3-1 to Charlton Athletic. That is if we don't get relegated, as the only way to stop us from doing so is leaving a like on the video and subscribing, as we're on the road to 60k. And look at the size of the squad come the championship season. When we could probably use more players, I've released them all, as now the team looks like this. We can't forget we had a lot of players on loan as last season. Now our left-hand side is weaker, and our backup strikers. Goodwin has now gone, and Dale Taylor back to Nottingham Forest. Shuffle that around, at least apart from goalkeeper, we do have all positions sorted. As backups, as in the first team, I really want that left-hand side fixing immediately, and the right, and the defence. There is work to do here, and hopefully that means for Wigan, despite the debt, a big budget to try and rebuild this team, and I have no idea how we've actually managed 9 million, which will firstly go into contracts, and we do have another 2 players to leave, meaning this season we're going to go mental, as let's see who's been released from clubs. Starting off with England, because of course, Wigan in England. I only think that is correct, and I do like to stay away from regions. However, desperate times call for desperate measures. Connor Atkins at only 16. I'm sorry, but get him into the club. I am taking no chances. He has to join us over any other team. As then an experienced head, Jack Stevens, a player experienced getting out of the division when he was at Southampton, and can slot in the centre of our centre-backs, although he is 31. Our only aim this season, though, to survive, so he is needed. Them experienced heads are crucial, and that's why the next player is Nathan Redmond. Another ex-Saints man, but this man signed a 3-year deal, meaning he must fancy himself as a player, and I really can't find any good free agents this season that are young, so Alexis Coelho joins the club as a backup striker, but now I have found an Argentine with him who could actually make a big difference. His name is Imanol Machuca. This is where it gets serious, a 79 rated to the team. And that's why I went with some old boys, because I knew I had to get the budget into a big player. Currently on the left, I mean, Redmond and Stevens are in the team. They'll probably come out very soon. We've got Bogus up to a 77. Atkins, 17-year-old, 73 rated. What a player. With then a decent striker on the bench, because Coelho's done decently for himself. Maybe the ability to play on the wing has helped him, as we do have key players growing highly, but their contracts are also expiring. Machuca and Bozuk are bogus. I'll always get it wrong. We've got a +5 to Atkins as goal-wise. Bogus, but he is in company from Coelho. Argentina taking over Wigan now. We do want to get more English players in still, as that is what the budget was looking like. We haven't spent 18 million though. That was wrong, as Everton, Southampton, yep, we're nowhere near the playoffs. I didn't really think we would be, but we do survive. Huddersfield, Plymouth, Millwall, please get releasing your players, because we survived by 6 points. Sunderland by goal difference. A team doing really decently in real life. That's a horror show if you ask me, as Southampton beat us 2-1 in the FA Cup, and in the Carabao, beaten in round 4 again by Manchester United this time. That is a shock, but still, hey, our first 2 signings both on international duty, as maybe that's what we need to do more of, going to nations you might not expect us to. As Stevens has done his job, he's kept us in this division, same as Redmond. I knew we didn't have the strength to just do the double jump up divisions. We're not a Birmingham, we're not a Wrexham, we don't have money, we literally can't spend it, apart from on wages as this season, because we spent so much last time round. It's gone down, and look at the contracts. Most of these actually are key players. So we're gonna have to get signing up, and we may actually have to sell players this year to make money as 2 million. That won't cover a good player's wages. I didn't get a goalkeeper in last year, and I also made a mistake on one player, saying this man had left us. Steve Sessegnon, rightfully on the transfer list, and will be alongside Johnny Smith, and will be alongside Nathan Redmond. Yes, that's right, he hasn't even been here long, but I am going to try and get him out of the club. I'll leave Stevens just as he is. He's the captain of Wigan now, and he needs to lead by example. Go and get us a promotion, and these guys are going to go and get us a lot of money. Sessegnon set for Turkey. Aimson set also for there. Then Johnny Smith to San Jose, and Redmond Hellas Verona, making a decent little bit of pennies from that. I mean, we've got more than we actually started with. However, selling them took up season time, and that means less free agents available. Probably could do with a left midfielder, maybe a centre-back, maybe a centre-mid promotion worthy. Could help us, but first, I'm going to visit my old favourite Romania for a backup right mid to replace Sessegnon, to replace Redmond, to replace Johnny Smith. Welcome in Bratu, or Mario, Super Mario if he plays really well. Glad to have him on board as a player I didn't give a true opportunity to. Last time we actually signed him is Jaden Braff, ready for left mid. I think it was with Watford he was really bad, so Jaden, prove your worth. Make sure you get Prem quality, and make sure you fight for promotion, as that is the ultimate aim of this save. And now a decent keeper, Emmanuel Bernardi. This will keep Tickle on his toes, who is 69 rated at only 19, but from young to old. I found a free agent player I never expected to say I want to sign until now. Casemiro. Now he's 34. He's stinky overall, but having a championship winner alongside a Champions League winning player, despite needing to be in a care home, I think this is a gamble I'm willing to take. Who I have changed to a centre-back. Here he is, the big Brazilian. 80 rated at 35. Now, I know his pace is only 22. His physical's going down, but he has replaced Jack Stevens as captain and helped Atkins at the side of him, now 79 rated at 18. Helped him grow as the team has grown. Braff doing a little bit better. He's still one of the lowest rated. Bogus and Machuca, both on their new contracts and both doing brilliantly as the ratings in this team 3/80. Brilliant work, and a man who used to be at Leeds United. He was binned off by the Whites. 26 goals in the Championship. Now, I know they've got Joel Perreault, but he's always someone they could have used in real life. And this is how the Championship's gone for ourselves. Despite all his goals, we are not automatically promoted, but the playoffs. Some difficult teams in there, but we've got to try and fancy ourselves. Somehow, as in the 4th round of the FA Cup, we lost to Blackburn. Then we lost in the 3rd round of the Carabao to Brighton, a team we would like to model, as let's face it, Brighton's rise has been astronomical as of late. They've done really good, and then in the Championship playoffs, 1st round we did squeeze past Coventry, but then Sheffield United squeezed past Swansea, a team I expected to fully go and win. As then we go and beat them in one of the most high-scoring finals in playoff history. That is another trophy, and guess what? It means Premier League for the Wigan lads right here, but it looks like Casemiro hasn't been playing. Maybe Stevens got his chance to lift his 2nd playoff title in the past few years, but how do we improve this team for the top flight? Well, the easy answer to that question, of course, is to sign free agents, but how do we survive in this top division that looks very strong? There's Burnley in here, there's Fulham, there's Leicester, there's Southampton, who are due a rebuild themselves, but this is going to be very difficult, as we signed a lot of old players to keep us up in the Championship, meaning we didn't have the younger players to grow whilst we were still there. We've got to find players that are already grown, and with £44 million, it would be enough to sign players, and we do have a player under 75 rated, and it would help to use our 5-star scout we've literally luckily been gifted, or should we say unluckily being gifted, because we can't use him, and he's a good one, which is frustrating to me, and Jaden Braff is the player I'm looking at. However, centre-back could be a place to sign. Casemiro, now 35. Jack Stevens, 33. he's already decided on his retirement. And James Carragher, well, he's not lived up to his dad's expectations. Not even half the player his father was. If he was, he would be at Liverpool. No offense to the youngster, as I'm literally searching the first round of centre-backs. Clement Akpa. I'm not going to sign him just yet, but he's added to my collection of players to go back and check, as we do have a couple of decent ratings. And there's another one, Maximilian Bauer. Beautiful first name. However, this is the man we were after. Finley Burns, an English youngish defender. 24, a decent age, and we're going to bring him in because I think he'll grow. Experienced at Man City, and I've chosen Akpa to come and join him. As there we have it, two good backups because Sibic's going to start as a backup for now. Casemiro stays in the lineup just for that veteran leadership role, I guess. Until he does get old, but there's a very familiar face out there to join him. And this is a player that I have signed plenty in career mode this year. It's Anthony, and he won't be our final signing, but he will be one of them, as now I need a centre mid, and I would say another winger. Well, here's the midfielder anyway. The Canadian Eustachio, who only takes 2 weeks to train as a centre mid and experienced in Europe. Could he help this Wigan team maybe qualify for the Conference League? As I tell you what, we've improved this team, but still that left-hand side needs a touch-up. And what about someone with literally the best name in football? Salah, but not Mo. This guy's Ibrahim Salah. And he's had quite the season, because this is the team we actually went for. Casemiro's hit unk status in the defence, but at least we had replacements on our very solid bench. It looks like Akpa's got the most game time over Sibic, which is good. Despite his longevity, Akpa has a left foot on him, and then Hugbo's now 80 rated. Jaden Braff is not going out without a fight. 79 overall, but he hasn't been playing in the team. We've got Estaquio now to an 83, changing him to a centre mid. He's 31, but he's still on it. Quality-wise, as this man is, Machuca, +3, +4 for Connor Atkins, and then Anthony's even going up himself. Unreal to see how good he is, surprisingly still in career mode, as this man's been a huge surprise. Mateus Bogus is still going, with 28 goals in the Premier League, but it's not a European push from the Latics because we literally just finished 12 points above relegation. Leicester going down. I mean, Bournemouth and Everton were some heavy hitters going, as then West Ham won the cup and beat us on the way. Oh, sorry, they actually made the final, but I tell you what, that should have been ours. We can have a history in the FA Cup, but now history in the Carabao, beating Sheffield United as we got the hard run in the semi-finals and the quarter-finals. We beat Chelsea and Liverpool to get our trophy, which is the first major honour in the bank and the first major honour we've got in a while without having an amazing team, and that will put us into the Conference League with the league phase won by Viking, making me feel a little bit confident for us. However, Frankfurt actually won it, so yes, there's still some very decent teams in this competition. So despite going into Europe, these are the kind of players we're going to compete with. Plus, we can't sign players, and plus, we need to go higher in the Premier League. Okay, now budget me. 47 million. Perfect. Wigan Athletic. Go, go, go. We have got to find the best free agents on the first day. I'm staying on July 1st because I'm really trying to make sure we catch maybe some of the older players which have been working for us, like Casemiro, etc. as finished Premier League mid-table and no continental success. What's going on here? Now, I was under the illusion that the Carabao put you into Europe, but that obviously can't be the case unless there's something up with my game. Oh, well, it would have been a distraction. So now, where do we strengthen? Our weakest still is at the back, but I do trust some of these defenders. And in fact, could striker be an option we actually go for? Not because we really need one, but because Alexis Quello was robbed from us. And he's actually been robbed himself, because $4.5 grand a week. I know he's at Cagliari, but you've got to pay a player correctly. As that's what we aim to do here with a real-life player coming in first. Looks like he has been released from Wolverhampton. It's Tommy Doyle. Again, not the greatest of ratings, but he's only 26. He was in the Manchester City Academy, if I'm not wrong, with Finley Burns. As after the signing of him, I do want to go in for some younger players, but don't worry, one eye open, I'm scouting a lot of 30-plus-year-olds. And then I think, what is the point when I find someone as good as Francisco Marquez? Says he's approached by Arsenal, but we've gone ahead and poached him. So him next to Atkins, next to Finley Burns. This is something special in the defence as Tickle still stays in goal. However, I don't really trust our wingers. We haven't got many goals from these guys out here. So let's try playmakers, why not? And also the same is for the left and right mid. So they go into the same shape, going a little bit more narrower. And that is a lot better. Unfortunately though, the Conference League hasn't popped up as I've been simming, but Ceze has, and I know he needs replacing. As much as I love the new Lewandowski, he does need a backup. And let's try this guy, approached by Leicester, who I think survived in the division, Gabriel Bustos, the Uruguayan. Hopefully more of a Luis Suarez than he is a Darwin Núñez, as look at that for league form. We will be in the Champions League after taking the least defeats out of any in the Premier League. The only problem is the draws. We've had a lot of draws in the season so far. Arsenal won the Premier League, but Fulham join us in the Champions League. And joining our Carabao Cup win is finally the trophy I wanted most, the FA Cup. And for the first time in absolutely ages, I've seen a penalty win finally in career mode. I genuinely thought they'd gone from the game. We beat Brighton right there. We beat the league winners Arsenal, and we beat Middlesbrough. That's all the way back to the quarters, but that's another domestic trophy. We'd really love to win them here, as Huddersfield in the Carabao finale. We exited to Middlesbrough in this one, again on penalties. However, I do not care. We've got both trophies. Now we're in the Champions League with this squad, and I can't believe I am spotting an 88 rated Anthony next to Bogus, Salah. That is a really good front three attacking wise, and then defensive with Atkins at 88 rated, only 20, and the bench looking really good as well, apart from the backup goalkeeper Bernardi. But if he has played in cup competitions, he has won 2 trophies for us, which is weird because shouldn't he be higher rated as +4, +4, +4, +1? A +5 though to Francisco. He has come into the team and hit the ground running, reminding me of Hierro, who did play in England. I know he did play for the rivals Bolton, but that's the only player that came to mind. As the player in my mind at the moment for this save and for future ones is Mateusz Bogus, because again, he just gets better. As his 93 shooting heading into this Champions League season, put the Lewandowski card on screen. What? Is he close to it? I don't know, because that's a job for editor Max, but a job for real life Max right now is maybe to get another centre-back to complete this team and get it ready for the Champions League, as we're expected to get in there again and win the Europa League. Since when were we in the Europa? Genuinely, someone tell me in the comments below how the heck that has happened. We've literally just finished in the Premier League with a team that didn't play a game or something? £120 million anyway. Right, we're going to dance with that straight into the transfer market, and I am going to check if we get in the Europa, because we genuinely shouldn't be there, and our only option now is to go with young players, because most of the old ones have retired or won't go to a Europa League club. I won't lie to you, I was looking at the likes of Kane, etc., but they actually didn't leave their clubs. Running through the goalkeepers almost had me missing this guy, Hendrik Haas, approached by Manchester City, which means he must be better than Ortega for them. And I'm taking him straight off the bat. Manchester City, keep your claws off. Sam Tickle is now in danger, and that's a brilliant man for on the bench, but I do feel sorry for the Italian winning us trophies, but not getting us into the trophy we needed to be in, that Champions League. I'm seriously weirded out by it, and I don't believe it, because as you can see, Frankfurt in the Europa League, so we're actually not in the the UCL, despite having a solid team and a pretty solid start to the season. Unbeaten in 2 games, but we need to be qualifying this year round. Getting hammered in the Community Shield though by the previous winners in Arsenal. That isn't very kind to us, as I literally don't know what else to do now. There was literally nothing. We signed the only player we literally needed. We were really cooking in the league last season, and we have done again. 3 defeats, I'm staring at it. 19 draws, a lot of draws again, but we are in the top 4. There are no games in hand for anybody, so we should be in the Champions League. Then again, I don't trust this game. And no FA Cup. Maybe winning the FA Cup confused it a little bit last year, because we of course going to Europe, winning this trophy, and we did win it, as Chelsea knocked us out this time in round 4. Nottingham Forest knocked us out in the Carabao quarter-finals. Grimsby Town there. We love to see it. And then the Europa League, 5th position, but I'm gonna save that for after I've checked the team, because honestly, we haven't spent a penny on fees, and we've got a sensational team which I trust for the Champions League. Braff, one of the lowest rated, then Estuquio in the midfield, 33, but then these 2 mammoths at the back, they had us covered, and Bogus just scores goals because he's got 35 this season. Then Anthony 17, Matchant 15. Right hand side, heavy club as we beat RC Genk 3-0, and oh, okay, I did not expect that. We lost in the quarter-finals of the Europa League. I'm kind of sad. I did want to win that competition, but Dortmund go and win it. We have to level up if we're in the UCL. And finally, in the correct tournament, it has got it right. Unless I was the one that got it wrong in the first place. I doubt that. Or actually, knowing how I pronounce things, knowing how I let things slide so easily, I probably did get it wrong, as after contracts, 164 million to improve this team, which honestly needs no improving. Actually, it does, because stupidly, not being in the UCL last year means Kata, our midfielder, and I forgot the other defender we had. I'm going to check him in a minute, but have left the club as free agents. Or sorry, not as free agents, on release clauses. Finley Burns, this is the defender. He's got to move to Tottenham, which is a league rival, and I want to win the Prem, as well as the Champions League, and Milai Kata is actually a free agent after I thought I'd signed him up, so guess what? I'm re-signing him. And funnily enough, it's on a lesser wage than he was on before, and now he's a Champions League player. Now he actually wants to come back. Maybe he left the club thinking we might not get into the Champions League with that glitch again, as I've got to search for another centre-back despite having good ones, and maybe a left mid. Despite Braff doing well, being in the Champions League means free agents will be better players, and we've got to scout thoroughly. I haven't skipped a day on, and this is the first player I've found. I've been looking at the oldies. I've got 2 to sign, and Selimeker's the first one, who you might have to note isn't as good as Braff, but I've given this guy an important role to get him to the club. However, he will be placed onto the bench next to Rankine, so a winger and a midfielder. Now needing just that defender, and we might have to experiment with this, because the only other player I've found who is decent and old is Basuma. No defenders on the lookout. Now, I feel really bad we lost Finley Burns, and we're having to try this guy out as a centre-back, and it takes 2 weeks. And I successfully got him changed round, but that 34 years of age has caught up with Basuma. It's also caught up with Estuquio. Both of them 34, but both of them do have replacements. Tommy Doyle and Akpa. That is a very good-looking squad. With Bogus, one of the world's best, I think he might have beaten Robert Lewandowski. Or his FIFA rating, as I saw the bench striker didn't get a look in. Connor Atkins, +4. He's a 93 rated centre-back. And Anthony, +2. Even though he's past 30, he's still growing. Reminds me of Casemiro when we signed him. That was way back when now. Hope he's doing good in retirement as Bogus. 31 goals. Bin off Lewandowski, we don't need him. We've got this man who's the world's best player. Surely up for the Ballon d'Or, but if it goes off league form, definitely not. It won't be Champions League next season unless we win the Champions League, which finishes the save as West Ham and Brighton pip us to the post. Not something we're very used to, but something Wigan are now is domestic trophies. We've beaten Leeds United. That's where all his goals came in, and get in there, another trophy. fair. But unfortunately, it's only won domestically because Liverpool win the Carabao. We didn't make it very far, round of 16, losing to Manchester City. But it looks like we've picked the knockout trophies to put in a little more effort. Because the Premier League wasn't very good, the Cups were half decent, and we finished third in the league phase of the Champions League. Only one defeat. Real Madrid had me worried with the 100% record though, but we beat their neighbours. Athletic 3-0, and we do have 2 over 90 rated defenders, meaning I expect clean sheets. But no clean sheet against PSV, who we hammer. But then clean sheets against Real Madrid, as look at the other finalists. Well, you couldn't see them right there, but it is Ajax and Frankfurt, as Wigan, with no signings, will face the Dutch Giants. This is not what I expected. Come on, we're at home, basically Old Trafford, Anthony's old home, Casemiro's, if he was still here, and Tommy Doyle's ex-rivals, being a Manchester City Academy graduate. Look how slow Ajax are. Machuca from the right mid position, shooting in at Malagon, but a very fast start against the team we should be getting the better of. That's a sloppy cross, but we're almost there. Bogus in the middle as Kante gets back to make the counter-attack stop, and he's actually the captain despite leaving us. And Jaden Braff done very good for himself in this save. Travella pass. Bogus cuts inside with all his goals. He should have added another one. So very close in the end as Anthony does rob the ball off the defender. That is a glass ball through. It is Ibrahim Salah who should have scored. It falls to Bogus. Only 15 minutes in, and this man from central midfield now turned striker. The world's best, I'd say. He didn't score his screamer, but he is literally a poacher. And the number 9 is in position to tap past Malagon. Great start as now Anthony. We need to keep on going. Don't let up. It is Kata now. Into Anthony again. Anthony pokes it into Machuca. Got a play style plus. In dribbling, definitely not crossing. There was a man free at the back stick, and then Akpa doesn't even win his header, but it falls to Tommy Doyle. Tommy Doyle, the ex-Man City player. If we turn inside now, Bogus steps outside, goes for the finesse, and be a bit wasteful in my eyes as now the second half is Forbes again. He's causing all the danger with the ball in the middle, left for De Vries, who's not a De Vrieser, but a De Wider, because he hit it wide, not high. That was a terrible pun. As now Omar passes it backwards. Regier backwards again. And getting forward into Omar. A block from our 90 rated Marquez. Ajax are more underdogs than us. We're usually the underdogs, as I'm just realising as well now. Anthony at his old home and against his former club. And that is an exceptional tackle on the Brazilian, but we get the ball back. It is Kata, one of our day one signings, and then one of our last signings as well. Let's look at Salah. He's got twinkle toes, but that Tolkien guy and Forbes, them two have carried Ajax to this finale. Judging off their performances as De Vrij, he's caught out by Kata, my man of the match this game, unless Bogus goes and gets himself another, which he should have from his chances, and that's a beautiful ball through to Kata. Now Bogus to kill the game off. That is the finish from our number 9 that the doctor ordered here for Wigan in the 83rd minute. 2-0 at Old Trafford. I think the game might be over here. Sensational finish from the captain to the striker. Our 2-day winners linking up for hopefully the Champions League winning goal, which it is, because nothing else happens after the whistle apart from the final whistle, and that secures Wigan the biggest trophy of all, which they have been due, and it is going to be Kata to lift the cup. He's come back, he's left, he's now come back for the trophy in particular, because he left when we didn't qualify, when we should have qualified. I'm angry by that. I'm of course going to watch it back in editing. Hopefully I'm wrong on this one, as if you don't want to be in the wrong and you want to get in the right, click here for more videos on the channel or comment below suggesting what comes next.